I'm Dawn Hill, host of Heart, Mind, and Purpose, a podcast where we explore what it means to live an aligned and wholehearted life. I am a professional counselor with over 25 years of experience and a deep love for meaningful conversation. I bring you honest reflections, soulful questions, and meaningful tools for managing life. Whether you're seeking clarity, connection, or simply a space to breathe, this podcast is here for you. Tune in weekly and join me on the journey.
Welcome to Heart, Mind, and Purpose, the podcast where we explore how our inner lives shape the way we love, connect, and grow. Hi, this is Paul Gramercy, producer of today's episode, where Dawn takes us into a topic that affects all of us, even if we don't always have language for it: our nervous system and the question of what it means to feel safe in our own body. In a world filled with stress, uncertainty, and constant stimulation, many of us live more activated, exhausted, or shut down than we realize. Today's conversation offers a gentle and practical look at how the nervous system works, why it can get stuck in survival mode, and some simple ways we can begin helping our body find steadiness, rest, and regulation again. Now here's your host, Dawn Hill.
Welcome back to Heart, Mind, and Purpose. Today we're going to talk about something that affects all of us, whether we realize it or not, and that is your nervous system. Now, I know that phrase can sound clinical or technical at first, but I want to make this very simple and very practical, because really what we're talking about today is this: how do you help your body feel safe in a world that often does not feel safe? And I think that question matters right now because so many people are carrying stress almost all of the time. Research tells us how damaging stress is for our physical, emotional, and mental health. Because there is the pace of life, there is the news, there is uncertainty, there are financial pressures, relationship pressures, health concerns, and just nonstop stimulation of modern life. Even when we are not in immediate danger, many of us still feel on edge. We feel things like restlessness, tension, being easily overwhelmed, quick to react, or sometimes the opposite. We feel numb, shut down, foggy, and disconnected. So today I want to talk about why that happens, what it means, and how we can begin to help our nervous system feel a little safer, a little calmer, and a little more grounded in everyday life. This is not about pretending the world is always safe. This is not about toxic positivity. And this is absolutely not about just calm down. It is about understanding your body with compassion and learning how to work with it instead of against it. First, I'd like to start off with this. Your nervous system is not the enemy. And one of the first things I want to say is this: you are not broken. If you've spent years overthinking, overworking, staying on alert, trying to hold it all together, or feeling like your body just will not relax, that does not mean something is wrong with you. It may simply mean that your nervous system has adapted, and adaptation is not failure, it is intelligence. Your nervous system has one main job to do, and that is to keep you safe. It is constantly scanning your environment, your relationships, even your own inner world, asking these questions. Am I safe right now? Do I need to prepare? Do I need to protect? Can I relax? And based on how your nervous system answers those questions, your body responds. Sometimes with calm, sometimes with anxiety, sometimes with irritation, and sometimes with numbness or shutting down. So if you've ever thought, why can't I just relax? Or why do I react so strongly? Or why do I feel so tired and overwhelmed all the time? It may not be because you are weak. It may be because your nervous system has been working overtime for a very long time. For instance, external safety and internal safety are not the same thing. This is one of the most important ideas of this whole conversation. External safety and internal safety are not always the same thing. And yes, I said that twice because it's so important. We can live in a world where there are real concerns, real griefs, real uncertainties, and still learn how to create more internal safety in our body. That does not mean denial. It means learning to distinguish between what is happening out there and what is happening inside of us. Because the truth is, you cannot control the whole world. You cannot control every headline. You cannot control every possibility. And you cannot control every outcome. But you can begin influencing how your nervous system navigates the world you are living in. And that matters. Because when your nervous system does not feel safe, almost everything becomes harder. And our nervous system knows this before our mind does. In fact, it goes first through our nervous system, then our body knows, and then our mind catches up. Thinking clearly becomes harder. Decision-making becomes harder. Rest becomes harder. Connection becomes harder. Joy becomes harder, and healing becomes harder. And our nervous system knows this before our mind does. In fact, it goes through our nervous system first, then through our body, and then our mind catches up. Part of the challenge is that our bodies were not designed for this level of constant input that we live in, which is why modern life is so hard on our nervous system. Our nervous systems were originally built to immediate and local threats: a storm, a predator, a sudden danger like a dinosaur or a bear. Something happened, the body mobilized, then eventually it settled. But modern life is different. Now the threats are ongoing and unresolved. News alerts, social media, comparisons, work pressures, economic stress, political tensions, constant notifications, noise. Just think about all the noises in our everyday environments that we are filtering out every day, all day. Things like air conditioning, refrigerators, the lawnmower people, TV or radio, and the list goes on. Also, there are deadlines, traffic, hard conversations, and the lack of rest. The nervous system often responds to all of that as if it needs to stay on guard. So you may not be running from a dinosaur or a bear, but your body may still be reacting like something is chasing you. And that is why so many people live in a kind of chaotic, low-grade activation. Not always quite in crisis, but not fully at ease either. You may notice this when you finally sit down to rest, and instead of relaxing, your mind speeds up. Or you lay down at night and suddenly you feel more anxious. Or you get a text and your stomach tightens before you even read it. Those are everyday examples of a nervous system that has learned to stay braced. There is fight, flight, freeze, and sometimes fawn, and these are part of our nervous system's response to danger. It can be helpful to understand a little bit about how the nervous system responds. When the body senses danger, it tends to move into some version of survival mode. Sometimes it looks like fight, which is irritation, anger, agitation, reactivity. Sometimes it looks like flight, with racing thoughts, anxiety, urgency, overworking, overdoing, not being able to settle. Sometimes it looks like freeze, fog, shutdown, numbness, exhaustion, feeling stuck. And sometimes it looks like fawn, people-pleasing, over-apologizing, trying to keep everyone okay so that you can feel safe. These are not character flaws. These are protective responses. And many people move in and out of each of these states without even realizing it. For example, one person may look very productive on the outside, but underneath they are running on anxiety and hypervigilance. Or another person may look calm on the outside, but they are actually shut down and disconnected. This is why the nervous system education can be so helpful. It gives language to things people have often felt for years but never understood. There's another term I want to talk about. It's called the window of tolerance. It's a really helpful phrase, and it simply means the zone where we are able to function, cope, think clearly, feel our feelings, and stay present without becoming overwhelmed or shut down. We are regulated, which means that a regulated nervous system is when your body feels steady, safe enough, and able to respond to life instead of just reacting to it. When we are inside that window, life may still be stressful, but we can manage it. When we move outside of that window, we tend to become either hyper-aroused, which is anxious, panicked, irritable, overwhelmed, activated, or hypo-aroused, which is numb, frozen, foggy, disconnected, and exhausted. A healthy nervous system is not one that never gets activated. A healthy nervous system is one that can become activated and then return to balance. That is such an important distinction. The goal is not to never feel stress again. The goal is to recognize when you are dysregulated and then learn how to come back. Because when your nervous system is regulated, your body isn't stuck in stress or shut down. You can think clearly, feel your emotions without being overwhelmed, and stay connected to yourself and others. Our bodies learn through experience, not just explanation, and this part matters so much. You cannot always think your way into calm, because the nervous system learns through experience, not just explanation. Your body needs cues of safety, not just good ideas, not just insight, not just information, all of which is helpful but not completely sufficient. It needs experiences that say, you're okay right now. You can soften. You can come out of defense. You do not have to stay braced in this moment. That is why small things matter more than people realize. A slow exhale, a warm cup in your hands, a soft blanket, a gentle movement, a kind voice, fresh air, quiet, a supportive relationship. Looking around the room and realizing I am here and in this moment and I am safe enough. These moments may seem small, but the nervous system pays attention to them and learns from them. Here are some ways we can help our nervous system feel safer. First, grounding. Grounding helps bring you back to the present moment. This can be as simple as slowly looking around a room and noticing what you see. You might name 5 things you see, 4 things you hear, and 3 things you feel, or simply just feel your feet on the floor, all of which remind your body that you are here, now, and not back there, not out there, and not in every possible future scenario. Breath work is another thing. Breathing is one of the quickest ways to communicate with the nervous system. A particularly helpful practice is a slight longer exhale than an inhale. You might inhale through your nose for a count of 4 and exhale through your mouth for a count of 6. Or try a physiological sigh, 2 small inhales through the nose followed by 1 long exhale through the mouth. That kind of breathing can gently signal to the body that it can start to settle down. Then number 3, gentle movement. Stress builds up in the body, so things like walking, stretching, rocking, yoga, shaking out tension, or simply slowing your movements can help discharge some of that activation. Sometimes people think they need a huge wellness routine, but often what helps most is something simple and repeatable. Number 4, regulating through your senses. The nervous system responds deeply to sensory input. So, cold water on your face or wrists, humming, soft music, the warmth of tea, fresh air, nature, a familiar calming scent, or a weighted or heated blanket. These are not silly little comforts. They are cues of safety to your nervous system. Number 5, safe connection. We are wired for connection. Being with a calm, safe, emotionally steady person can help regulate the nervous system in ways that are hard to create alone. A warm voice, a hug from a trusted friend, a supportive conversation, or a pet curled up beside you. This is also called co-regulation, and it matters more than we often realize. Why rest can feel hard may be a big question for many of us, and this is something many people feel confused by. Sometimes rest does not feel restful. Have you ever sat down and thought, why can't I enjoy this? Or why do I feel more anxious when I finally stop? That can happen when the nervous system has gotten used to staying on. When the body is accustomed to urgency, slowing down can initially feel uncomfortable, not because rest is wrong, but because rest is unfamiliar. That is why many people reach for a distraction instead of true restoration, scrolling their phones, constant noise, multitasking, staying busy, filling every empty space. But healing often involves learning how to tolerate calm a little at a time. A personal example from this, when I was in graduate school, it was my last semester, and I worked a full-time job. I went to school full-time, and I did a 20-hour-a-week internship, all the while raising 2 kids at home who were both in school and having a husband. And trying to hold all that together, it was a lot, and I did manage to do it. But when it ended, graduation was done, I found myself coming home from work and just walking in circles in my house like I did not know what to do with myself. I didn't have a 20-page paper to write or 500 pages to read before the next day or something like that. Just the insurmountable pressure that I was under. All was gone, and I did not know what to do with myself. And so I just said a quick prayer and said, God, help me. I don't know what's happening to me, what's wrong with me. And I just got this word in my head, which was like the porch swing. So I was like, okay, so I went outside and I sat in the porch swing. And I immediately looked at my watch and thought, well, how long do I have to sit here? And so then I thought, well, okay, God, how long do I have to sit here? And, I heard 20 minutes in my head, that just was a time. And so that first day, I just watched for the 20 minutes. And the second day, I did, but a little less. And by the end of the week, I was not watching my watch. I was paying attention to what was happening around me. And we had huge pecan trees and oak trees on our property, and there were squirrels everywhere. And so I began to watch the squirrels playing tag and then digging for their nuts or burying nuts or whatever, but they would do work and then they would play. They'd do work and they would play. And I just found so much peace and calm in that. And I learned to rest. I learned to come back to a place where I could say to myself, it's okay that you don't have so much to do. You don't always have to be doing something. It's okay to sit and rest and watch the squirrels play. And so I did that. It became very important in my life, and I still tend to watch the squirrels play even today. So rest doesn't happen all at once. It doesn't happen perfectly. It does happen little by little. We can talk about daily habits because this is where the nervous system healing actually happens. It's usually not one dramatic breakthrough, but in repeated ordinary experiences. And here are a few daily habits that can help. 1, start your day gently. How you begin your day matters. If possible, avoid launching straight into stress, news, scrolling, or panic. Even just a few quick minutes of quiet, prayer, scripture, breathing, a short walk, or a calmer morning rhythm can make a big difference to your nervous system. Number 2, slow down on purpose. When the body feels threatened, people tend to rush. But moving more slowly can actually send messages to your nervous system that there is no immediate emergency. You are safe. Walk slower, eat slower, pause before responding, take 3 deep breaths before the next task. Or number 3, checking in with yourself. Or as I usually say to myself and my clients, let's just run our inventory. Ask these few questions a couple of times a day. Just pause and say, what am I feeling right now? What state am I in? And what do I need? Am I thirsty? Am I hungry? Have I been holding my breath? Is there tightness in my shoulders? Have I been needing a moment? That kind of self-attunement builds regulation, which is so important. Rest during the day, not only at the end of the day, is important. Many people wait until they are completely depleted before they try to rest, but small moments of recovery during the day matter. Sit outside for a few minutes, look out the window, stretch, step away from the screen, or drink your tea slowly instead of multitasking. Number 4, create an evening wind-down routine. The nervous system needs help transitioning into rest, turning off the news and social media earlier, reducing stimulation, softening the lights, journaling, prayer, gratitude, quiet music, or a bedtime routine can all help the body settle. And again, this is about regulating your nervous system. Number 5, notice your glimmers. I love this phrase because a glimmer is the opposite of a trigger. Everybody knows their triggers or they know when they get triggered, and everybody's aware of being triggered, but I haven't really heard people talk about their glimmers. So glimmer is something that helps our nervous system soften, smile, breathe, or just feel a little more okay. Things like a favorite song, a pet, sunlight through the window, a warm drink, birds outside, a safe person's voice. The more you notice these things, these glimmers, the more you can intentionally bring them into your life, and that will help settle your nervous system. For some people, this conversation may land very deeply because they have lived much of their life in survival mode. And if that is true for you, I want to say this gently. It makes sense. If you've had chronic stress, relational pain, uncertainty, or seasons where your body learned that it had to stay prepared, rest may feel unfamiliar. Of course, your body may not trust the stillness right away, and that does not mean you're failing. It may simply mean that your nervous system learned to survive in ways that now need updating. And that's why compassion matters so much here. Not judgment, not shame, and not questions like, what is wrong with me? A better question is, what has my body been trying to protect me from? That question changes the tone completely. It moves us from self-criticism to understanding, and understanding opens the door to change. So you may be wondering or asking yourself this question, how do I know when it's time to seek more support? Because there are times when this kind of support needs to go beyond self-help tools. If simple calming techniques make you more anxious, if you experience panic often, if you disassociate or shut down regularly, if sleep is deeply disrupted, if relationships consistently feel threatening, or if you feel very disconnected from your body much of the time, it may be wise to seek support from a trauma-informed therapist or someone trained in nervous system work or somatic work. Because sometimes what the nervous system needs most is not more pressure to do better, but a safe, steady place to relearn calm. Therapy is not about fixing what is broken. It is often about creating enough safety that old defenses no longer have to work so hard. I want to end with a shift of how we define safety. Sometimes we think safety means, I'll feel safe when the world calms down, when life is predictable, when nothing hard is happening, and when every threat is gone. But that is not realistic. A healthier definition might be this. I feel safer because I am learning how to care for my body, notice my signals, use the tools available to me, and return to steadiness more than I used to. That is resilience, not never being activated, not never feeling stress, but becoming more able to come back from feeling those things. And when we begin to feel safer in our own body, something beautiful happens. We think more clearly, we connect more deeply, we rest more honestly, and we respond instead of only reacting. And we become more available to love, wisdom, peace, and purpose. Your nervous system has been working very hard for you. It has been asking over and over, am I safe? Do I need to brace? Do I need to protect? And maybe one of the kindest things we can begin to do is answer back gently and consistently with things like, I am here. I am listening. We are okay right now. We can soften a little, and we do not have to carry the whole world in this moment. This takes time. It is not quick. It is not linear, and it is not about getting it perfect. It is about building safety one small moment at a time. One breath, one pause, one boundary, one walk outside, one calmer evening, one honest moment of noticing what your body needs. And over time, those small things matter. They teach the body that life is not something only to survive, but also something to inhabit with more peace. Thank you for spending time with me today on Heart, Mind, and Purpose. If this episode resonated with you, maybe you could share it with someone who has been carrying a lot lately and needs a little hope and understanding. Until next time, may you be kind to your heart, clear in your mind, and grounded in your purpose. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Heart, Mind, and Purpose. If this episode helps you better understand why your body may feel stressed, overwhelmed, or on edge, we hope you'll share it with someone who could use that same encouragement. You can find resources and listener handouts at dawnmariehill.com/heart. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode as we keep exploring how the heart, the mind, and our sense of purpose all work together for a life well lived. If you have questions or comments, please contact Dawn at heartmindandpurpose.podcast@gmail.com. Until next time, thanks for listening.